The action is heating up, and Sampras is fanning the flames of this rivalry. Can Courier get hot himself and run Sampras down? We'll find out today. We're at the Lipton Championships in Key Biscayne, Florida, for the men's semi-final. It's live and it's next.
And now, beginning the option on today's player. Warming up in the North Court. This player.
Dade County with Miami as its center is becoming the gateway to Latin America and the Caribbean. Tourism, of course, is still the most lucrative industry, and there's a good reason for it. Great weather down here. This is the Lipton Tennis Championships. And today in our feature match, the first of two semi-final matches. Number one in the world, Pete Sampras takes on former number one Jim Courier. We're at the tennis center at Crandon Park on Key Biscayne. It is another, this is getting boring, folks, another terrific day for tennis. 82 degrees, 76% humidity. Sunny is going to stay that way. The big thing down here is the wind, and there is very little wind again today, so you're going to see some high quality stuff. Stadium court action, and you can see Jim Courier taking the court now, followed by number one in the world, Pete Sampras, who is in such terrific form. He has won, as we've already said, 3 tournaments this year. He is looking nothing other than what he is, which is the very best player in the world. Very warm greetings to everybody. I am Cliff Drysdale. After we left you yesterday, last night, in fact, we had an interesting match between two unseeded players going into this championship. Pat Rafter took on Jim Grab of the USA. Rafter is from Australia. Now, Rafter had beaten Chang, he had beaten Rosset. Jim Grab had beaten Crickstein and Bruguera, the French Open champion. They played 3 sets. First set went to Jim Grab, and he was ahead in the second set. He got injured, he lost that, and then he lost 6-1 in the third set. So Rafter is in the semifinals. Take a look at that. How would you feel if you were Pat Rafter? Sampras, Courier, Agassi, and Rafter, all in the semifinals. Well, in this match between Sampras and Courier, let me ask you, Mary Carrillo, how things are going to turn out in view of the fact that for Pete, they've played so many times.
Since they were kids.
Yeah, they know each other so well. The head-to-head doesn't look good for the number 5 in the world.
No, it doesn't. Jim Courier has lost, in fact, an awful lot. 9 of the times they've played. Courier has won twice. And in fact, you know, as we said, Sampras beat him at the Australian. He beat him to win Wimbledon last year in the final. He's won the last 3. The only time that Courier ever beat Sampras on a hard court was when Pete Sampras was defending his U.S. Open. He had won the 1990 U.S. Open, and he played great. The next year, a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure. He felt it. In fact, when he lost to Courier in that quarterfinal at the U.S. Open, he said, the weight is off my shoulders. Well, you know what? He loves being number 1 now. He knows that he is the most complete player in tennis. He doesn't feel that anymore. He has a game that matches up great against Courier, and he's got more firepower. So it'll be a tough one for Jim to win.
Kind of walking around in the men's group like Steffi Graf is in the women's to some extent. What about this, the dynamics of this match, Fred? It is impossible to call Jim Courier a defensive player because he's not. But when he plays against Pete Sampras, he's the more defensive of the two.
Well, he is trying to return serve, Cliff, but Courier offensively off the ground, I probably think he hits it as hard as anybody, and that's what he's got to rely on today. So let's take you through what we think is going to happen. We think it's going to be the serve of Pete Sampras, and he gets that serve in. Now, Jim Courier has to rely on this stroke to return a serve, and if he returns serve well today, he has a chance. But then he has to look at the Sampras volley, and technically that's a pretty good one. And if he is to do any more, then it has to be the Courier ground stroke, that passing shot. So you're going to find that Jim Courier is going to be trying to get that return of serve back and then win off his second shot, which is the passing shot. I just think that Pete Sampras is just playing so well. He's so confident. Jim Courier is struggling a little bit. I've got to go along with another Sampras victory.
Not difficult match to call in this sense, Fred, that as you say, you all know what
I'm not putting my neck out, am I?
No, I don't blame you for that, because Sampras has been so good, as we said, this year, and he has really dominated men's tennis. Well, let's take a look. They are warming up, final stages of their warm-up. This is the big serve of Pete Sampras as They are about 1.5 minutes away from first ball in the air. Best of 3 sets throughout this championship. Pete Sampras is 22 years old, Washington, D.C. Tampa, Florida is his home now, and he likes it in Tampa. We tell you that he spent most of his years as a junior, though, playing out on the hard courts of California, so he's very much at home in these circumstances. Take a look at his earnings. In fact, I was looking at the earnings of all 4 of the semi-finalists, and they all won a whole lot of money
Except Pat Rafter. And Pat Rafter is the rookie in comparison. I tell you what, though, Cliff, Pat Rafter reminds me a lot of this man, Pete Sampras, when about 3 years ago. You know that Pat Rafter is going to be a good player, but he's a little raw. And we said the same thing about Sampras about 3 or 4 years ago. You can pick those champions out, but it takes them a little time to mature, as it did Jim Courier. Now, Jim Courier's got to pick up his game because of the confidence factor. He's missing a little bit in that department. He's played well this tournament, and of course he's going to go in giving himself a big chance here, but over the last 4 or 5 meetings it hasn't been good for him.
He was ranked #1 last year at the Lipton. He is currently ranked #5, so that in those terms I suppose is a precipitous drop. But as you have said during the tournament, Fred, you cannot write him off. It's just stupid. I mean, in the days that you used to play, he would play okay, you know, and then you'd come back, and that may well happen to Courier, Jeff Tarango in the first round, and then Cherkasov, then Jan Simmering. But he had a good one over Goran Ivanisevic, 6-3 and 7-5. So that's how Jim Courier got to where he is now against Pete Sampras. Sampras has looked very good. Now, he has interestingly faltered a couple of times in the tournament. He had, as you can see, against Wheaton 6-love and then 1-love in the second. Wheaton was saying to himself at that stage, boy, I just hope that I can win a game in this match. The crowd were beginning to whistle. Wheaton, though, came back and won that set before Sampras put him away in the third. Woodford was a straight set win, but the same kind of thing happened against Porter. He won the first set easily. Porter came back, played a brilliant second set, only 1 break of serve in that. And then Sampras woke up and in the third set put him to sleep in a hurry.
I think that happens a lot, though, when you're playing as well as Pete Sampras has played, Cliff. You go to sleep for a couple of games and you may lose a set, and then he just gets it back on track.
Love.
I was talking to Heinz Gundhardt in the locker room just before we came up here. We were talking about Steffi Graf, and he said that's her problem. The only thing is that her only problem is that she may get too bored. And that may be true of Sampras as well.
I don't think Sampras will get bored at all. He wants to win Grand Slams, he says, for the next 10 years and place himself forever
same with Steffi.
in tennis history.
They don't mind picking up the Grand Slams.
Love Sampras.
30-love.
It's actually nice to see Courier do that just now. The second game of the match, and he's already showing that he's a little loose. You know, this guy has been so tense, I feel, in the last couple of months. It's nice to see that this is his attitude today. He has got to be loose, and he's got to go for his shots. That's a good indication of Courier's mindset. The biggest problem he has had, there's so many problems to have when you face Sampras, is Sampras mixes up his service game so well against Courier. He can do it against anyone, but especially against Jim.
That's a pretty tough serve, though. The opening service game of the match, and that serve was struck at 120 miles an hour, and he hasn't even warmed up.
Beginning.
Game Sampras. First game.
Pete Sampras easily holds on, 1-0 in the first set. Our coverage today of the Lipton Championships, live from Key Biscayne, is being brought to you by Lipton Tea. The brisk brings out the R. And by IBM. There's never been a better time to do business with IBM. #1 and #5 in the world, both from the USA, battling it out for a place in the final of the Lipton on Key Biscayne.
Hello, hello.
Which one, Fred?
Sounds good.
This is. That explains it.
Tie. Jim Courier.
10:50 a.m. and here's what happened. Pete Sampras driving himself, and he can stop himself, as you can see. The question is, can anyone on the men's tour stop him on the tennis court? Obligingly signed a few autographs. Not a lot of smiles, because this is a serious business to Sampras. Some hours ago.
Likes his Mitsubishi Sports.
Yeah, no limo for Pete Sampras. 15 love. Make that love 15 in this game. One game to love, Sampras. Courier serving. Courier hasn't won a point yet.
Yeah, 5 straight points, and this is going to be the key to the match as well. Courier serve, because Pete likes pace. He can hang on the baseline. He doesn't have to charge in against the Courier serve. That's a beauty, and Courier has to do that. 108-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle of the tee. Pete Sampras's return game is the most improved department of his whole game. In fact, he leads on the IBM ATP Tour. He's got the best return game in men's tennis. He's leading this week. He was leading last week in Indian Wells. 2 aces in a row. Beautiful. Great idea. Don't let Sampras hit. Don't let him play.
Easier said than done. Let's find out if he can continue to do that. 30-15 Courier.
(40-15). Again, Courier.
Courier holds on. This is one game all in the first set. This best of 3-set match. Now, Jim Courier has lost to Patrick Rafter, for example, at Indian Wells. That was just last week. Brad Gilbert beat him in Memphis. Here's some other people that he has lost to, notably Jaco Elting in Kuala Lumpur. He lost to Michael Pernfors in Montreal, and we were not sure at that stage whether he was enjoying tennis enough to give it everything. Remember, he had just played the Wimbledon final before that tournament. Jonathan Stark beat him in Tokyo, and Derek Rostagno last year in Philadelphia.
He definitely has played in the last year, maybe year and a half, much differently than he had played when he dominated men's tennis so well for 1.5 years. Those guys, all those guys on that list, a couple of years ago, he walks out on the court and says, "You got to deal with me." You know, he was the boss, and everyone reacted to his big shots. And he's got to get that back.
Lendl put it pretty well in that respect, because he always used to say, you know, I'd get free points just because I'm Ivan Lendl, the top player in the world. That doesn't happen anymore for
That's what
Lendl.
Courier has to do, in my opinion. He's either got to strike. That first strike has got to be a good one on the return of serve. And his tactics today, and we talked about this in the Open, the first strike return has to be a good one. If it's not, look at that. Good shoulder turn, doesn't move his feet too much because of the pace of the serve. You don't get time when it's coming at you at 115 mile an hour. But he has to, that first strike shot. Then the other factor is that he's got to try, if he gets into the rallies, he has his best chance if he can keep Pete Sampras on the baseline, which means he's got to hit deep shots off the ground.
15-30.
Sampras has got to the point now where he likes to get into rallying exchanges. He's quite confident with his baseline game. But by his own admission, he says, hey, on a clay court surface, when you're into a lot of rallies, I'm not as good as maybe a Bruguera or a Courier yet.
30 all.
Two in a row for Sampras. It's 30 all.
These two have played so many times, you're going to see a lot of serves like that out to the forehand, because Courier closes the face of the racket on that shot. Gets it out there, he has to hit that ball. He cannot block that one back. Sampras can, because his grip is not anywhere near as far around as Courier's.
Pete likes that wide serve in the deuce court. He likes the one up the middle in the ad court. He uses that against Courier a lot.
That's to his forehand, Courier's forehand. That's where they go most of the time.
2-1. Sampras, little trouble in that game, but he holds on serve. It's Courier to serve after this.
It would turn anyone's side.
Uh-huh. Not many people in this stadium have their money against Pete Sampras here. 2-2. I'm not only talking for this match, I mean for the championship. 2-1, because he has dominated the sport so severely here in the last few months. Won Wimbledon. He holds all 3 Grand Slam titles, excepting the French. He won here last year. There's his record at the Lipton, 16-3, and he's trying to become the first man to do it twice in a row. And as I said, not many bidding against that. Courier to serve into the sun. It's about 1:18 in the afternoon. It's not a good spot to throw the tennis ball up for the serve. 1-2.
Well, you got to say that Jim Courier is coming up pretty strong on the serve right from the start. That's ace number 3.
He knows he's got to serve well so he can at least pressure Pete's serve. Shift the pressure a little bit.
Sampras may be looking, Courier may be looking for an out call there, but I think the way the ball reacted.
That's Delana Mulcahy. First date Pete ever had. She's still around. That kind of a guy, isn't he?
Yeah. One time from Austin, Texas, which was my old stomping ground, and now a Florida girl, as is Pete.
That last shot from Sampras, I think, hit the line and skidded, kept very low.
15-30.
Courier has got to look out here.
This is second serve, 15-30, and
look where Sampras is.
yeah, 1-2.
He's threatening. He's saying, "Hey, he can hit a big forehand." There, he did exactly what he did.
You see him
wanted to
looking up
get
to the
over
sun as
there,
well, Fred.
And the sun was a problem, and Sampras extracted that double fault.
So here are 2 break points, and I caution you to watch this carefully because these early stages of the match are important. If Courier doesn't make his move now, an early break, and Sampras could run away with it. Courier knows that.
Oh, boy, 2 in a row. It's a pity because he knows so much how important it is for him to serve well against Pete, and he came out so nicely.
Well, that's also going for a little bit. He's come up with some aces, Mary, but then 2 double faults in a row because of the fact that he realizes that Sampras is going to jump on that second serve. It gets you to go for a little bit too much on the second serve. Neither one of those second serves were into the net. They were both deep, so he was going for depth and he went for a little too much.
Again, he's going for the Courier forehand. Courier is so used to servers, especially serve volleyers, attacking his backhand side. Sampras is not afraid of the Courier forehand, and by going to the forehand so much on the deuce and ad court, of course, it opens up the backhand side for Pete as well.
Just opens up the court for the volley, and then Courier, particularly with that 2-hander on the backhand side, he's got to come up with passing shots where he's got to really get to the ball to hit the ball with 2 hands.
30 love. Jim Courier's got like a double coaching situation. There is Brad Stein in the Nike cap. Next to him, Gavin Forbes. He is the agent of Jim Courier. Jose Higueras is the other coach that Courier has. He doesn't see him near as much as he does Brad Stein.
Got to cover a lot of ground, Courier. Even off that one, Sampras played the half volley. But Courier, to be comfortable with the passing shot, had to run a long way to make it.
Pete Sampras is off to a very strong start again. 4 games to 1. 1 breaker serve. Courier will serve after this.
That's
That's
just what I wanted to
incredible
know.
that it's, you know, you get these things and you get them and you build these matches up so much. Sometimes they just, sometimes they just don't happen.
If he loosens up again, he'll be all right.
No, it's just 2 double faults. Only 1 break, but
12 of the last 13 points. So. Yeah, what's the story
no, I
with him?
spoke to him last night. I spoke to him in the locker room last night. I said, "How you doing?" And
we
he
didn't
said,
tell
"Well,
that story yet. We should.
It's sprained ankle," and he said, "I said, are you going to be in India?" He said, "It'll be all right for India." Yeah.
Maybe he'd gotten treatment or something.
Sarah will have to play in that case.
4 games to 1. Sampras, 1 breaker serve in the first set. The number 1 taking on the number 4 seed in this tournament. Davis Cup next weekend. And our super Snoop Brian Williams, who's also the producer of our show, claims that he saw Todd Martin limping pretty badly because of that injury that he had to his foot. But apparently you talked to him last night. He is planning to play singles for the USA in the Davis Cup alongside Jim Courier next weekend here on ESPN.
I saw him in the locker room just after our Legends match last night, Cliff, and he had it all taped up. I asked him how he was, and he said, "Oh, it's a little sore, it's a little tender, but it will be okay, and I will be going to India."
Renneberg and McEnroe will play doubles. 4
1 Sampras.
Love 15.
This is about the best known face in South Florida these days. Good morning, America. She was on this
She's
morning.
huge, Stephanie Flaherty. Boris Becker was getting kicked around by Andre Agassi. And he got so frustrated at one point that he handed his racket to this girl. And she went out and played a point with Agassi, beat him for 1 point. And she's been doing talk shows ever since, frankly.
Been on the front page of the sports down here in the Miami Herald.
Getting nibbles from Hollywood. She's
Nobody,
going to be on Geraldo next week.
nobody is talking about it, but Agassi got a terrible call on the serve
Yeah, he
when
did.
she won the point.
Yeah.
15 all.
Finally, he stops the rot, as we say. He had lost 13 of 14 of the last points before Courier finally got himself back on the board.
He started off so well, winning his opening service game. Well, he was robbed then. Not too much margin for error on that forehand, and it hit the top of the tape and bounced out wide. Had it cleared the net, it would have been in comfortably.
It's so hard to get a short ball off of Pete Sampras. So that was bad luck from Courier, because he could have had a nice swing at that.
15-30. All.
30 all.
There's the man who really did the whole thing. He was ATP Tour. It wasn't called the ATP Tour at that time, but he was the executive director of the ATP. And when he left that position, he said, I'm happy to leave, guys, but I want to take with me the right to a tournament. And he created this championship out of that story.
How's his wife Marilyn sitting next to Butch?
And it is the best tournament outside of the Grand Slams, this Lipton Championship, in this new stadium.
Jim 40-30.
Very important stages for Courier here. He served 2 double faults to lose that last service game. If he were to go down 2 breaks here, the confidence level would go.
Again, Courier.
Courier with just a little look there at Pete Sampras, his friend. They used to be actually very good friends. Remember a story, in fact, he tells it like this. Courier said that they used to have some great times together, and they were at the Malibu Grand Prix racetrack in Florida one time, and one point I'm sitting in the pit stop, and here comes Pete whipping around the corner, and just as he gets me, he does a 360-degree spin. He says, I'm nervous, but he was grinning the whole way. He's got this Batman grin, you know, like the Joker, whose mouth comes up at the side. That's really pretty funny. They are not as good friends anymore, but they've had a long history together.
I honestly think that's one of the great problems of tennis professionals. They don't have friends. They're agents. They have agent friends. They have coach friends. They don't have real friends.
4-2 Sampras. Oh, Sampras hit it. It was going long, wasn't it? Sure looked like it from here anyway. But he had the open court. I think he figured he had an easy forehand volley, but he just missed it. Let's see if that works out.
These fellas have played so many times against one another. A good defensive lob, very high, but not very deep. But Courier anticipates where this one's going. He's over there to tee off on this two-hander, and this is not a difficult shot, but the sun may have made it more difficult. I think it might have gone out, but Courier gets the point.
Boy,
missed it,
two
so that's 30.
Yeah, two loose points from Pete. That bounce overhead he really could have put away, and now he got a little loose on that one too. This is a real good-looking chance for Courier to bring this back on serve.
That's out. Just
That
missed
forehand
third.
that he missed on the first point, remember it, because it has turned this match around, or will if he doesn't hold on here.
He's played a sloppy backhand. This one he just tries to slice and get it back in, and as soon as he hits it, he knows it's going to slide wide.
Break point. Talking about friendship on the tour and one thing and another, I thought Butch Buckle had something interesting to say yesterday, and he was sitting alongside the legends who are playing here as well, and he said, well, what were the differences, somebody asked him, between those days and now? He said, now it's like two corporations playing against each other.
It's awful, and that's exactly right.
And also, I feel that when years ago, when we traveled around, you had your friends. You couldn't afford to take the entourages, the girlfriends and the family as they do today.
Sampras saves another one. It's still break point for Courier, with Sampras serving from the unkind side sunwise.
The odds, Cliff, even when you're down love 40 on your serve, the odds, if you talk to the odds makers, are still with the server. They're still 6-4 with the server. And if you've got a serve like Sampras, well, you know, you get out of a lot of these situations. Very important now for Courier.
Oh,
there you go.
Boy, his first ace of the day, exactly when he needs it. Threatened 3 times with break points, and there it goes again, that one down the forehand side.
The real downer for Courier, that, isn't it? Oof. You have 3 chances. Now it's deuce.
Those tennis players know those odds, though, and when you're looking down the barrel of a Sampras serve, it's tough. You get an opportunity, you must make it pay.
Advantage, Sampras.
Sampras has only been broken twice this whole tournament.
And that's a sign of a champion. The great ones, Gonzalez, Newcomb, Ash, when they were down, they just knuckle down. And that's what makes them the best.
Game Sampras. Ball change.
Pete Sampras made it look easy after he had saved those 3 break points. So he's ahead 5 games to 2. Courier to deliver after this.
You guy, I was thinking the same thing. No.
You're exactly right, Brian. Everybody knows it. You know it, I know it, and everybody knows it.
Yeah, nice try, Byron. Nice try. We couldn't afford it. Uh-huh.
They used to pay their own way by you. Cruz the capital of the world. Haven't used that much. Have
Yeah.
I'm looking at it at the on the board over there.
Tie.
Miami Dade County, the cruise capital of the world. I'm not sure that you'd want to take a cruise on that interesting looking barge, but it's taken something somewhere. There are plenty of cruises that leave from it. In fact, more. Is there any place in the world that more cruise ships leave from than Miami area? 5 games to 2. Pete Sampras has the lead in the first set. He was very close to being broken down love 40 in his last serve game. Tremendous skyline of Miami. 5-2 Sampras, Courier to serve.
Thank you.
Talked a lot about Pete Sampras and his shin splints and other injuries that he's had in his career, but he is fit, healthy, and injury-free at the moment.
That's because he has Walt with him. That's an overrule from Daniel Aconto. It was called good. Now
He could have used a cheap point, Courier.
His masseur is Walt, and Walt's traveled with him exclusively this year and keeps him in good shape. Massages every day, so those shin splints, he doesn't get anything wrong with him these days.
Total miss hit. That backhand looked like it came off the frame. Missed it. 5-3. Sampras to serve for the first set. Best of 3. It's a semi-final match. The other semi-finals, it's going to be Patrick Rafter of Australia taking on Andre Agassi. How's your man going to do in that one, Fred?
I think he's going to be struggling, Cliff. I felt the first set last night against Jim Grab. He played awful tennis, and Bob Carmichael drove up to Turnberry last night. He's staying with me up in the Turnberry area, and he said that Rafter, he couldn't believe the way Rafter played in that opening set. And if he plays like that against Agassi tonight, he's not going to have any chance.
Fred, Agassi has wins over both these players that you're watching here. Did I say Rafter?
So does Rafter.
I meant to say Rafter has.
They both have, yeah.
And he's also beaten Michael Chang here, so he's got a couple of pretty good
he does have
wins under his belt.
He's a fighter, Cliff. That's the one ingredient that I like about the kid. He reminds me, as I mentioned earlier, very much of Pete Sampras, the Sampras of 3 years ago. You know Patrick Rafter is going to be a good player. And Bob Carmichael says, hey, maybe it's another 2 or 3 years down the line. But he's confident against these guys, and that certainly helps.
30 love. 2 points from the set for Sampras.
Sampras makes a nice move here, and I think perhaps it threw Courier off stride a bit. He makes the fake move, and perhaps it made Courier just take his eye off the ball for a fraction of a moment, enough to make him miss it into the net.
He knew what he was going to do with it, though. He was going to rip it straight at his buddy.
Got him cold that time. He had plenty of time, Courier, to line that one up and give it a good rip. There's a pickup, and it gives Courier a lot of time, and there was no hesitation from Courier this time. He lined it up. He didn't care where Pete was going to try to cover.
Oh. Closes in. He makes it look easy. Remember when he won that first US Open, how everybody was saying it doesn't even look like Pete Sampras is trying, and he had to win a couple of great matches. Remember, Lendl was the #1 player in the world. He beat him then, Agassi. He beat McEnroe. And everybody was saying, gee, that guy is so lackadaisical. He doesn't look like that anymore. But he does play a few points where he makes it look so easy.
I think that
Set
forehand is the most improved stroke in the Sampras arsenal.
Courier saves one, still set point for Sampras.
I remember us calling a match with Sampras and Chang up in the mountains, up in Stratton, and Chang beat him 6-4, 6-4, and at that stage Sampras made something like 42 unforced errors. He has cut way down on that, and that's where Gullickson has helped a lot.
That's very nice from Courier. It's deuce.
Well, this is what we talked about earlier, that Courier has to try and keep Sampras pinned to the baseline. If he can, and he's aggressive like that, and he gets them in. But he's got to realize that he's hitting about 3 or 4 winners against Sampras now.
Right.
And he's got to be patient.
It's a hard thing to do. And the thing is, Pete likes his own baseline game, and he doesn't always come to the net behind his serve. So sometimes Courier will wind up and hit a really good return, and Pete can handle it from the baseline.
2 set points have been squandered. Not squandered, they've been won by Courier.
Advantage, Sampras.
Set point number 3 now. Recording these events for tennis publications and other publications all over the world.
The photographers love that pit, by the way.
Set
So
point.
well designed. Got him.
This is what has been lacking in Jim Courier's game the last 4 or 5 months, is this second shot. He gets the return back, but he has not been able to make the second shot. He badly needed that one. It was set point. He made it.
Advantage, Sampras.
Courier doesn't like that call, but he's going to have to live with it. 4th set point for Sampras.
It's only his second ace. He has served a lot out wide, that breaking serve to the forehand.
And he saves another one after that double fault. That's the first double fault for Sampras after Sampras's lost, after Courier's last match. Actually, they asked him about playing against Goran Ivanisevic. Interesting experience. He says it's always an interesting experience. I mean, he's kind of got the cards in his hand with that serve, and you just have to wait and see where they fall.
Well, he's only serving at 50%.
This is a tough thing to do here. He just served a double fault. He went over and he changed rackets. Now, he's had 4 set points, and he goes to get a new stick. We know that Sampras gets his racket strung every day. But it's a tough thing to go and pick up another racket at a very critical stage.
Did so after a double fault, of course, and now this is the set point number 5. And this match is the same kind of match for Courier, where you just got to wait and see what happens, because Sampras has got every bit as biting a serve as Ivanisevic. Set point. That one crawls over, so he saves another one.
Second serve, and Sampras takes a couple of steps back, and the net cord didn't bounce too far over the net, but it did help Jim Courier. So Lady Luck shines on Courier at the moment.
He nets it, and here is a break point for Courier.
He would love to see a second serve, Courier, and Pete has been giving him an awful lot of them. Pete's under 50% right now. First serve's in.
He's had his break point chances. 3. Sampras has broken once on his first chance. Missed it, and so Courier on his 4th breakpoint opportunity break serve. He will serve after they take a break. We will too. The score is 5-4 on serve, first set. Wait a second, Brian. I'm giving it the AM going to commercial, and you give me the sigh. Yeah. Everybody. I know what that means. That means that I'm acting like I'm lazy and I don't care. You've got to, you know, you us egomaniac announcers, you got to be very careful. Yeah. Oh man, can Fred do this one? Okay, Fred.
What's that?
What do I start off with up here?
Yeah.
Welcome back here to the Lipton Championships at Key Biscayne. Pete Sampras for that set couldn't handle it. And racing across America, the Louisiana Derby tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time. The 69th running of the Louisiana Derby is a major step for three-year-old Kentucky Derby hopefuls John Chrislink and Dave Johnson and Charlie Canty. The racing across America Saturday, later today on ESPN.
Let me make sure that I can tune in for that, Fred, the way you invited us all to participate in tomorrow afternoon's race. Why'd you do that, Fred? You like that horse race?
Hey, I was born and bred in Australia, mate. We gamble on flies running up a wall.
Have a look at Courier's first serve percentage. The fact is, he had one rotten service game where he had 2 double faults and an unforced error, and that's it. So if he can serve pretty well, this is actually a pretty good match.
4-5. Love 15.
She'll know who I'm. Well, it's taken Courier quite a time to get into the rhythm of keeping Sampras back on the baseline, and he has been able to do it. He's come up with some brilliant shots, but as often happens, you break serve, then you've got to try and hold your own to stay in the first set. So he's in trouble now.
Love 30. 4-5. Well played point. Wide to wide. Got him out the forehand side, and Sampras couldn't get there and making any kind of effective return down the line into the net, and it worked.
Courier's baseline game, you know, when he does have it, uses transition game, he goes for the great approach shot. He doesn't want to have to volley if he doesn't have to. Pete, from the baseline, is looking to get in. He's a little bit, he can do more. There it is again, the big, he gets himself a short one, and he tries to punish it.
That's what he's endeavoured to do right from the start. The luxury that Sampras has is that Courier's not going to come and serve and volley. So the last 2 points have been first serves, but Sampras on his return, and that last one got it back deep enough, but Courier had to wait for the little slice backhand that was inside that service line and then thumped. That's the hardest forehand that Courier's hit all day.
No.
Again, that's the return. He knows that Courier's not coming. If Courier was a serve and volley, that would have been a duck volley, wouldn't it?
This is set point again.
Stays back, and then he has to then, as you call it, the transition game of Jim Courier. He goes for that one as opposed to getting in and hitting the volley.
What is this, number 6? Had 5 on his own serve. Now he's got one on Courier's serve.
A lot of people thought that wide.
Sampras waiting for the one to go down the line to Courier's forehand. When he eventually did, they got into an unbelievable forehand exchange. This is the first time the forehand. Look at this forehand. He rips into the corner, and that one down the line was nearly as hard as Courier's last forehand, but it set up the position that Sampras would take over the moment at the net and then finish off the volley. What a point. The best point in the match on set point.
I'll tell you, I don't know about you guys, but I was watching that rally thinking that Pete Sampras, in his own subtle way, was saying, I'll see you in Paris. The French Open, I think, is the only place where Sampras truly feels like that's a tough one for him. The surface, 3 out of 5 sets on clay. It's difficult to win from the baseline, but that was a very long, involved baseline rally. And Pete beat Jim Courier, one of the best of the baseliners, on a very big point.
The tactics in that point were more than the rally itself, because Courier was stuck right in his backhand corner, running around backhands, did forehand, and Sampras was so patient. He only went to, throughout there must have been about a 25 shot exchange, and he only went to Courier's forehand on 2 occasions during that rally.
15 love.
Oops.
The sun is still a problem there. I mean, they both are having a problem finding a place to toss the ball. It's his second double fault, Sampras. Closing in here on the East Coast on 2 o'clock. No flies on that one. What was that, Fred, about betting on watching flies walk up a wall in Australia?
We used to do that. Well, you know, there's so many flies in Australia out there. They, you can, if you get a bit bored, you either toss coins in the locker room, or you bet on the flies walking up the wall.
40-15. Sampras leads the fast serve contest for this week. Ivanisevic behind him, and then Wheaton, Beresategi, Rafter, and Becker all over 120. Game point, Sampras.
Game Sampras.
Well, it was a very interesting first set. Looked for all the world like Sampras was going to win it easily. Courier made a match of it, but Sampras did win it eventually. 1-love in the second.
Okay, everybody. If you're going to do that one, Emilio is one of the few guys who has played this all 10 years, Cliffy.
All right, it's down here, black and white. Okay. It's not very consistent with what we do normally, but
Depending on who you get your memo from. Yeah.
we're doing this after the score. Six games to 4. Sampras won the first set. He leads it by 1 game to love on serve. Courier is about to serve. Emilio Sanchez is the tour's sportsman of the week, and if you have a vote here among the ladies at just about any time of the world, he gets the vote for being the best looking guy on the tour as well. He has done a lot of good things. ATP Tour charities will donate $5,000 in his name to the USTA National Junior Tennis League. He's one of only 2 men that have played this championships here at the Lipton for all 10 years. He participated in a bunch of public autograph sessions and tournament functions over this past week. He is also the vice president in his home country of a private foundation of the fight against AIDS. Congratulations to him.
15 love.
1 game to love Sampras, 15 love, 1 set to love Sampras. He did it. It's a very low percentage shot, that little chip just over the net. But it worked for him, and it's nice to see when it does. Watch.
Well, it forced Sampras to get back because this one actually, I think, might have hit the tape as it came over. It did hit the tape, so he was off balance. He couldn't get any time to get any stick on the shot. It opened up the court for Courier. Look at this, Courier. Then he can just hit that curve ball, the one that comes around. He comes around the outside of the ball and brings it in.
Game Courier.
The thing about Courier is that's his 4th ace of the day. Perhaps he's
loosening up a little bit. You know, he saved a bunch of set points in the first set. Made I think Pete didn't play great in the last several games of the first set, and you know, you don't want to let a guy like Jim Courier back into a match. He's a very good fighter, and you know, this second set could get complicated unless Pete declares himself right from the start, as he did in the start of the first set.
Missed it
wide.
That's a scrappy point there. Sampras shaking his head, missing that volley. This is what happened in the first set. 6-4 to Sampras. Sampras 13 of 20 at the net, 65%. Courier just doesn't go in unless he hits that big forehand, and he's won 2 of 3. Sampras 100% on break chances, and he won the set on his 6th set point, and it was not on his serve. He had 5 on his serve, lost that game. Let Courier back into it. Courier lost his next service game for the set. They can nearly play this match on half a court until they get the opportunity like that one, because they're both going into the backhand corner. Sampras not doing too much with Courier's forehand. That's the big shot that hits the winners that he can't get to. And on the other hand, Courier likes that away from the body forehand, and that goes into Sampras's backhand side. The reason he likes that, because he hits it flat and it goes over the lowest part of the net. Oh, what a serve.
You like that one, don't you, Fred? I mean, that ball wasn't more than halfway up there toward the serve line, and it was on the line. There's just about no way, I don't care how, even if you're a Michael Chang, that you can get to a serve like that. It's so wide.
You'd have to have a very long arm.
Actually, it was still a 100-mile-an-hour serve. He didn't take that much off. Missed it.
32.
A lot of pressure on Courier because he can't miss shots like that, and he has got to hope that Pete misses.
You're You're right about that, Mary. At love 30, you know, he just didn't take his chances again. And as you've been pointing out, you just don't get that many against Sampras' serve.
Ooh. 40, 30.
That's got to be up there, 124.
Fifth ace.
I like what the great sports writer Jim Murrier wrote about Pete Sampras in Indian Wells during that event. He said playing Sampras in a 3-set match is like fighting a bobcat in a closet. You don't have too much time to figure out strategy.
He got that
Stayed
one.
In. That's the lob that you have to play perfectly because Sampras has a great overhead, but this one played with pinpoint accuracy, just enough topspin to roll it in.
And total disguise, Fred.
Yep.
Sampras had no idea that one was coming. He was so close to the net. Deuce.
Boy, I like that shot. That was one where Sampras waited for the return. And watch this. Courier cranks the return. Sampras stays back, goes in on the next shot. That's a good tactic. But look how much time he takes here. Sets himself, doesn't rush it. Just a nice, smooth swing. Doesn't try to overpower that shot. Goes much more for position, and he found it.
Break point. Ooh, double fault, and there's the break for Courier. 2 games to 1. Courier leads. He'll serve. After the players sit down for a minute, we're going to take a break as well. 2-1 Courier.
You must have had terrible bloody knees when they did that.
Oh, it's awful. They've done 2 ligament reconstructions, Fred. I've got nothing left. I've got all my cartilage, and I just shredded it. Team tennis one, they had to run over it again. Team tennis one went here
What's that?
and there, and then they had to. Then they had done ligament repair. Now they didn't have any more ligaments to go from, so they had to open me up here, take about this much hamstring, which isn't as strong as ligament, and thread it over and put it out here. They had to pull out a. I mean, they did. So it's not good. Hamstring to ligament strength is like 2 to 3, which is why I just can't get it strong. It's it's not. Yeah, they've run over things. I've had 4.
What are we coming back with?
Time.
You're watching the Lipton Championships as you see that boat lazily making its way in the background here off Key Biscayne. Beautiful, beautiful area down here, and another sensational day. This match is 1 hour old, and it is between Jim Courier and Pete Sampras, both of the USA. As a matter of fact, 3 of the 4 semi-finalists are all from the USA. Jim Grab could have made it 4 out of 4, but Patrick Rofter beat him last night. It's second set action here, 2 games to 1. Jim Courier has got a break to serve. Sampras won the first set 6 games to 4.
The Lipton's been going for 10 years. This is the 10th anniversary. It's the first time an Australian has reached the semi-finals at the Lipton. And boy, it's big news back home.
It's mentioned Rofter and these 2. I guess I should say that the 4th is under Agassi. Excuse me, Fred.
The fact that Rafter is in the semi-finals over here for the first time, Channel 9, the channel that I do Wimbledon with, is taking our coverage live back to Australia tonight. It's the second semi-final will be played this evening here, Key Biscayne, Agassi and Rafter.
You can watch that live on the Deuce on ESPN or on a tape delay at midnight Eastern time here on ESPN. Love 15.
Boy, this is a problem that Courier's had. He's able to break the Sampras serve and then goes around and loses his own. And this just is a little bit of lack of confidence.
He has got a good high percentage of first serves in, just short of 70% at this stage. But he's double faulted too much.
And Pete's service percentage continues to be below 50. I mean, so he's got a chance. He's breaking. He's got to hold. It's what we were saying earlier. It's up to his serve.
Very patient Sampras there, just slicing that backhand back. Look at Jim Courier's service profile there. 67% first serves in. When he gets it in, 59%, then 55% on second serve points won. Both of those tell you that Pete Sampras is returning that serve quite well.
This hits. He has a couple of more chances at this break opportunity. He has in turn just been broken. They've both got 2 breaks of serve.
That approach shot was not a good one. That was right up Sampras's alley. He had plenty of time and just took his eye off it. Maybe he was watching Courier, but he framed that backhand totally.
15-40. Another one.
You watch Courier serve. He serves and then retreats left, so that he wants to. He's looking for a forehand. If he gets that first serve in, he goes back into that backhand corner.
Two of 4, as I said, they've both broken twice. Sampras has had 4 shots at it. Courier 5. Oh, that was the shot to play.
He's aggravated that he didn't get that ace. He was hoping he was going to get a call.
Daniel Leconte's in the chair. Courier is having words with him. And I think you're dead right, Mary. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, he thought he needed, again, he's been broken a couple of times. He's feeling the pressure of holding serve. And he wanted a cheap point, which he did not get. I mean, it's crazy for him to be arguing it now.
He's
they
also feeling the pressure of Pete Sampras and the way he has played. He desperately wants to win this match. Of course, he's been a little bit at sorts, but I thought this one was a little wide. But you know, there I think it was wide. I think it was a good, fair call. But you can't argue that point after you play that. That's the little roll forehand. So now he throws the stick down and goes up and argues about something that was 2 strokes earlier. That's just not in the rules.
A year ago at the Lipton, Courier had words with Daniel Leconte in a losing effort to Mark Woodford. He was very aggravated. And I think Daniel is absolutely right. I thought it wide. And I trust Leconte's judgment on these kind of situations. Again, it was Courier had no chance to win that exchange anyway.
Oh, I don't think he was trying to have anything changed. He was absolutely just trying to make the point.
Right.
I think a lot of it is out of frustration because he broke the Sampras serve to get back into the first set, then lost his own. He achieved a break early in this second set and then found himself having trouble again on serve.
Sampras is in the position now, frankly, where people are really hoping that whoever plays against him does well, and that's to be expected because he has dominated this men's game for so long now. They're looking for a challenger that's for real. 30 love.
Well, they're going to find that when they get to the clay courts in Europe, because we've had all our tennis has been indoors or on the hard courts over here. So the clay courters that do come over here, the Brugueras, nobody knows who Bruguera. He's a top player. He's seated way up in this tournament. He's the French Open champion, but he hasn't set anything on fire over here on the hard court. Oh.
Wow. He actually hit that ball right at Dana LeConte in the chair.
He sure did.
Saying something to him.
Let's see if he gets a warning or something. Dana has now got to make a judgment call. He's got to decide what to do with it. It looks like all he's going to do is take a sip of the drink.
I don't think there's anything you really can do. Who's to know that that was an intentional swing, Mary? I mean, it's just, who is to know? Only Jim Courier knows for sure. We'll be back after this.
Yeah, but he's
And for him to be that
he says, "Are you all right?" Yeah.
It's a nice shot.
He says, "Are you all right?" Though. Well,
he did say, "Are you all right?"
He just then said, "Are you all right?" Yeah.
I'm not sure. Look at the way he put his head there after he did. I'm not sure he did do it seriously.
No, he's talking to him.
I am not sure he did mean it. I swear, I'm not sure. The way that he.
I'm not. No one's sure.
What
this
he did
guy's the only one who knows.
Did with his head there, you know.
Can we see it? Can we see it, Brian?
Okay, take a look at this now. Here is the returner's serve that Jim Courier hit that went as close to hitting Dana LeConte as doesn't matter. Watch this again. Now watch his reaction. Look at this. He goes, oh, I didn't mean to. It looks to me like that's, oh man, I didn't mean that. And then at the changeover. Are you okay, Dana?
I don't know. The jury's out on that one. Only Courier knows if he meant to hit Dana LeConte or not. But I'm glad that they were speaking with each other on the changeover. Did get him in the leg, Dana LeConte.
Well, these guys have to travel around with these chair umpires week in and week out, and they're all pretty good friends. It's just the frustration when you get out there and there's money on the lines, titles on the line, egos on the line, everything's rankings on the line. You certainly have words with the umpires.
The actual ball hitting Dana LeConte was out of frame, so we don't have a slow-mo replay of exactly where it got him or how close it came to him. But it was going, that ball. 30 love Courier.
He nearly hit Sampras.
He's just trying to pick off everybody. I kind of like this strategy.
Knock out Sampras, knock out
if you
the
can't
chair
beat him,
umpire,
beat him up.
There's nobody else left.
A sloppy game from Pete Sampras, and it's the kind of game that Courier frankly needs at this point. Even things at 3.
We're talking about corporations against corporations, Cliff. You know how you tell whether the guys have got racket contracts? This is one corporation against another. One corporation down there has a racket contract, one doesn't. I'll let you figure out which one.
Let's point out, first of all, Fred, that we were talking earlier about the differences between, in case the folks were not with us, that was, what was that, an overrule?
No, it was another call that Courier thought he'd gotten another first serve in. It was called out.
Second serve, game point. Courier holds on, and it is 3 games all. We were talking about how in the old days, you know, it was player versus player, and how Butch Buchholz was saying earlier that when these guys play now, there's so much money at stake. It's more like corporation playing against corporation. Fred now.
Well, there's the Butch Buchholz. His dream has come true with his lovely wife Marilyn there, and she's had to put up with a lot with Butch and Cliff Buchholz getting this off the ground. But to answer your question, the corporation that does have a racket contract is Jim Courier, because you can have a look at the stencil on his racket. The man that doesn't have is Pete Sampras.
It's the same racket, though, isn't it?
Pretty much. There's the stencil, the big W for Wilson. And if you have a look at Pete Sampras' stick, there you go. He has a couple of lines along the bottom, and that is the racket stringers logo, the people that string the rackets. He doesn't have a racket contract.
15 love.
Or the string logo, it's the Babylon company that he has uses a lot of gut, Pete Sampras, because he strings his rackets every day. Every match he plays, half a dozen rackets get done.
30 love. Missed it. Sailing along in this game. They have traded breaks of serve, so they have not sailed along all set long. There were 3 breaks in the first set. 2 of them went to Pete Sampras. 2 so far in this set. 3-3. Game point. And game to Pete Sampras. 4-3 lead. 6-4. He won the first set. Semi-final of the Lipton, and we're live.
Yeah, the whistles for Pete's chest.
I thought
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my.
Are you serious?
Oh
No.
my God. No. Oh, they were.
Stiff.
this can only happen in America. This can only happen in America, man.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have made the garbage edition in Australia.
It is another beautiful day on Key Biscayne. This whole Dade County area has put on its finest weather for the Lipton Championships, and my goodness, they needed it, because last year was just the opposite. Jim Courier and Pete Sampras are battling it out in the semi-final of the Lipton. 6-4. Sampras won the first set. He's leading 4-3. They've traded breaks. We're on serve in the second. It's Courier, the number 4 seed and the number 5 player in the world, about to serve.
All match long, he just has seemed so much more relaxed than Courier, hasn't he? I mean, Sampras just, you know, Courier has felt the pressure of trying to hold, of trying to break. And Sampras, again, it's not one of the great days of his playing career. He's struggling a little bit, and yet he knows he's got the big heat. He knows he's got the big serve. He knows he's got a very solid return game.
When you're that confident, though, Mary, you just sort of play. You
Yep.
throw it up. You don't think about playing. You just go out there and you're doing everything well.
Yep.
Everything works.
Dancing around to his forehand side. And the thing is with Pete, he's not playing like, he's just playing well enough to beat everybody else in the world. Steffi Graf does that too.
Either one of these players is going to need this, what amounts to change, because they are multi-millionaires, both of them. The winner of the Lipton will take home 242,000. Nevertheless, they are playing today for at least 128,000, and they've already banked 67,000. Love 15.
Courier or Agassi or Rafter would like that 350 points on their side of the ledger because they need it. Pete Sampras doesn't need it. He's ahead by over 1,000 on the tour.
15 all.
IBM ATP Tour computer points. Sampras is ahead by the biggest margin since they brought in the rankings. There it is. Look at that, just under 5,000. The closest one is 3,094. And Jim Courier, if he can get 300 there, he's going to go up to number 4 in the rankings.
Edberg lost his match to Agassi, so he won't move up to number 2 yet over Michael Stich. He would have if he'd beaten him. 30-15. His 4th double fault. 30 all. The lazy return, Courier, as you can see, has made a lot more unforced errors today than he did against Ivan Izovich in the last round.
Interesting shot Sampras played there because he played the slice backhand and he came away underneath the ball and the ball was curving away from Courier when he made that forehand and he had to chase after it, and that was the major cause for him missing it down the line. The ball moved away from his body.
Deuce at 3-4, second set.
Ooh. Boy, two backhand errors in a row. I mean, this is forehand. Just a forehand. I'm sorry. It's just a crisis of confidence, isn't it? Yep. And he has made millions of dollars off of that shot, Fred.
And all Sampras has done was just block it back. He didn't try to do anything on that return off the forehand side. He blocked it back. The point before, he played that little slider backhand. Didn't have any pace on it.
Brad Stein, Gavin Forbes, coach and manager, respectively, of Courier. Miss hit there from Sampras. You know, Mary, you said something earlier about Pete Sampras and talking about the French Championships and one thing. I think he has decided that he can stay back with Courier, and there comes times when he on the court just says, I'm just going to get this back and let's see how Courier can hurt me when I stay back.
Right.
Not going for that much. It's interesting. You don't often do that.
Well, Jim, you know, he's very defensive when you talk to him about his slump. He hates, you know, he hates when you talk about it, and he tries to dismiss it. He talks the talk right when he tells you that, but he's not walking the walk out there. And you know, if he's saying the right words, but it doesn't seem like he believes them right now.
But you get into a, you know, you get into a slump. That's one thing I can't understand about tennis. You know, he's number 5 in the world, and if he wins here, he gets up into number 4 in the world, and they talk about slumps as though you're totally written off.
No, I'm not talking about that.
They try to do it with Edberg. Edberg's come back. I don't think, you know, Courier's going to be around for a while, but he's not number 1. He slips down a couple of rankings. That happens from year to year. Somebody stays up there for a couple of years, you move down, then you go back up again. You do have bad years.
Not a good game. And for Pete Sampras, it's 4 games all. Did not, since Indianapolis, win a tournament. So he's number 5 now, and he was number 1 going. Last year he had won the Australian Open. So we were talking Grand Slam. Then he gets to the final of the French.
Yep.
Up a break against Courier in the 5th set, lost that one. And a couple of weeks later, finalist at Wimbledon. He had no expectations at Wimbledon. It was all opportunity. And he got his way to the final, lost to the server.
And then, truthfully, at the Canadian Open, you know, he lost that match to Michael Pernfors. He wasn't really sure whether he wanted to be there because he'd had a good season. But things kind of went downhill from there for Courier, and he was never able to collect himself.
Hopefully he will go back to just swinging away, you know, going out on the court and saying, how many times can I hurt this guy I'm playing, you know? And if he belts the ball and it's not good enough, well, it wasn't good enough that day. But he's got to get back to that mindset.
Yeah, that's well played, Sampras. He was patient, and that's what we've been talking about, the strategy that's going into the corners before the backhand of the 4th. That's before the crash. He was 51-9. And as Cliff mentioned, he had 5 titles that year. He won the Australian Open.
$15 Sampras.
Mary talked about how Sampras mixes his serve up against Courier. That was one of the mixing. That was a good kicker, 84 mile an hour, jumped up. You could see Courier trying to stretch to get that. He had to take one hand off it, off the racket.
Oh.
And he mixed it up again.
That's 7 aces. Yeah, he can spit him, he can slash him, he can do anything. But Pete Sampras himself at number 1 says now, he said, you know, I've talked to McEnroe about this. When McEnroe was number 1 in 1984, he only lost 3 matches. He said, you can't do that anymore. The talent is too deep. Yeah. Rewards high, pressure, strong. But boy, he seems to like it there, doesn't he?
He's handling it well. Sampras has a lead in the 2nd set on serve. He won the 1st.
Mary's mic is killed. She just needs another knee to get downstairs.
Fred, are you enjoying this pen?
Yeah, I am, Cliff, yeah. Oh, you're getting, yeah. Oh.
Graf, Sabatini, Sanchez Vicario. You're going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Everybody's going to be there. Now you're in India. You're going to get a red spot on your forehead. Yeah. Holy cow. Good. Quiet. Time.
The Lipton Championship semi-final of the men's singles today. Pete Sampras and Jim Courier are battling it out. They're on serve in the 2nd set. It was 1st set going to Sampras. Continuing our coverage here on ESPN of Tennis Family Circle Magazine Cup. Thursday, March 31st, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, and then the following day, which is the 1st of April, more coverage. That's from Hilton Head. Steffi Graf, Gabriela Sabatini, Sanchez Vicario will be there. It is a terrific event there on a very, very beautiful East Coast island of Hilton Head. So I know you want to be with us. Sampras and Courier As I said, 5-4 Sampras with the lead, but Courier serving.
Oh, what a shot. That was just a snap of the wrist because he had nothing over there. There was no body weight. There was nothing. He was totally wrong-footed on that shot. This is transition tennis again. Courier goes back to the forehand, one of the very few occasions. Look at that, the snap of the wrist, and he gets it over inside that service line area. Great balance.
Hour and 28 minutes old. That's playing time. 5-minute warm-up, and got to do their ablutions and stuff before they play. Actual playing time 1:28. Great shot, and Sampras at 15-30, 4-5, and a set in hand. Watch this.
He hasn't hit too many down the line forehands, but a good stage of the match to give it a rip. And it went in. 2 points now from the match. Sampras. Boy, there was a big fist pump there from Courier, but it could have been 2 inches the other way, and it would have been a set point, match point, whole deal. And it gets over to Courier's forehand. He snaps this one down, and Sampras just says, hey, I got to go for the bigger one, but he barely missed. Marvelous rally.
Played 11 times these two, and Courier's only won twice. Courier holds on, and it is 5 games all. 15-30 at one point in that last game. But he came back. Delena McCahey, Pete Sampras' girlfriend.
Ace number 8 for Sampras.
Loves Sampras.
Courier struggles to get this one back, and he knows it's a weak return, so he has to guess then. So he tries to fake it out and run over the other side, and then Sampras just beat him as he went back in behind him. Sampras doesn't look at Courier, watches that ball, Takes his time. Sampras been to the net 36 times.
Missed
Courier
that one.
7.
Not even close. He's of Greek extraction. Pete Sampras, Dad Sam, and Mom Georgia, Gus, Stella, and Marion, brothers and sisters.
They came and watched him play out at Indian Wells. They haven't watched him play that much tennis. They get rather nervous, but they were out there to watch him win the Newsweek Champions Cup.
There is a 30-all story at 5 games all. Now, at this stage of the match, let's face it, every point is a very significant one.
See, on that occasion, Courier looking out for the forehand. He took one step out to the forehand side. The result was a serve right down the tee.
119-mile-an-hour bomb. Yep. Couldn't have hit that volley a lot better. Popped it up, I suppose, Fred, but it was as deep as it could be. But as wide as it was, he had a nice angle for the pass.
Yeah, and he took his time on that. That's exactly the same shot he attempted to play on set point in the first set, if you remember. But the ball on that occasion was a little deeper, so it made it easier for him because it bounced up higher. So he's mixed his serve up well. Courier was leaning that way last time when the deuce caught. The ace went down the tee. That time it went out wide. Double figures now in the ace department. Sampras with 10.
Sampras holds on. So he's got a 6-game to 5 lead. Courier will serve when we come back. Sampras won the first set 6-4.
Who's that? Courier? No, Sampras been in there 39 times.
Time.
Sampras is sailing along in this match, 6 games to 5. He leads in the second and he won the first. That's one of the things you can do down here. A lot of sports and recreation. Dolphins, the Marlins, the Heat, the Panthers, the Hurricanes, the Royal Caribbean Golf Classic, the Lipton Championships. That's what you are watching here. The Parks and Rec Department down here in Dade County takes care of 400 parks, golf courses, tennis, racquetball courts, ranges, marinas, all sorts of stuff.
That's why Jim Courier bought a place down here, because he's a sports nut and he just goes over from Fisher Island and can watch anything down at the arena. Loves his sport and his golf.
5-6.
Interesting stats here. These are the Pete Sampras winners, 14 on serve, 10 of those being aces, 7-4, no backhands. And in net play, he's hit 8 winners for a total of 29. Had 28 unforced errors, so he's been playing reasonably well. But the reason he hasn't hit any backhands is because they've been playing corner to corner. And it's pretty tough to come up and hit a backhand winner off something that Courier is hitting away from the body at that speed. On the other side of the coin, Jim Courier has only a total of 17 winners. And that's how they've come up. Pretty even all the way around. They got one at the net. He's won 5 of 7 points at the net, though. He's had 22 unforced errors as opposed to 17 winners.
Missed it. Game points coming up for Courier, and if he wins one of the next 3, that's going to take us into a TB here, tiebreaker for the second set.
Stephanie Flaherty, the ball
the
girl,
most famous
the most famous
ball girl in
they've ever had here. Only in America could that happen. Go and play 1 point against Andre Agassi, you get worldwide publicity. Oh, one shot. The good players save those shots for a specific time, and you saw Brad Stein just yell out at his man Jim Courier, come on, let's go. Courier did that with the two-hander. If you remember a few games ago, Sampras did it off his backhand down the line. They hold it until an important point, and they try and then make use of it. There's Brad Stein, and he just yelled out at his man to get into this tiebreaker.
Courier is his man. Seven and 1 for Sampras. Courier has not been that good this year. Good, and that is out. So Courier wins the first point.
See how far Sampras went to hit that forehand, because Courier sliced that one-handed shot, and Sampras elected to really hustle around. He left the court wide open, and he pushed his forehand wide, so it didn't make much difference.
It's 1 point all. You haven't seen a lot of Tim Gullickson, who is Pete Sampras' coach. Well, Gullickson says that Sampras' serve is like the Green Bay Packers sweep. You know it's coming, and there's not much, or he actually says there's nothing you can do about it. But he's in one of the suites up here now. He's outside of our camera range, but he is here, very much so. 1 point all.
And you haven't heard from Mary, because Mary went down courtside to do an interview a couple of games ago, and Jim Courier is still in this match.
That is a great shot. Open court, he really set it up with that wide forehand. 2-1 Sampras, and he has the serve coming.
Anytime you can make somebody like Courier take that one hand off the racket, he can't generate much pace. But Sampras had to be very careful on this one. It's a lot tougher shot than it looks. This is the big forehand that he hits away from the body. It sets up the easy one. But watch him. He has to take his time, watch the ball, and be careful with it. Don't just get up there and hurry it.
2-1.
And Sampras thought he might have had the line, the outside edge, but no.
2-2. Hurried that one, Fred. You're talking about hurrying things, and that's exactly what he did there.
He wanted to finish that very quickly. He wanted to go for the winner rather than put the pressure on Jim Courier. He didn't really have to hit that hard. He could have gone and take some pace off that, let Courier go for the passing shot.
2-2. Broke a string. He'll have to change rackets. 3-2 for Sampras. Courier to serve.
Courier, there's the defensive lob, and it was a good one. This one struck straight at him. Good hands there from Courier to get that one back up, but Sampras makes no mistake about this. See Courier back off about another 6 feet, trying to get it, and he says, what can happen? So he broke a string on the overhead, but it went in. He broke it on the overhead, and Sampras just kisses the strings and says, hey, I'm glad I didn't have to play another one.
Didn't have to make another string. That's exactly right, Fred. If you're going to break a string, make it on the put away shot, because otherwise the next ball is going to fly on you. 2-3. Four 2 for Sampras. The players will change ends. Courier's going to go around the other side. Talk about Sampras being kind of lackadaisical, and tennis is comes so easily to him that he does look like that sometimes. But he says, I don't think people realize that I'm a pretty driven person. People see Pete Sampras and they think he's a little lackadaisical and casual. I work hard on my tennis. I don't like losing matches, that's for sure. I get a lot of pleasure out of beating people.
Well, these two have had a rivalry going back into the junior years, and now number 1 and 5 in the world at this stage.
2-4. 4-3, and Sampras will serve 2. First to 7 with a 2-point lead wins the tiebreak.
Point that was for Jim Courier. This was a terrific serve, just a one-handed reply. Courier anticipates the cross-court forehand. Sampras looking for the cross-court roll forehand that Courier has played a number of times today, but this time he slaps that one, the slap shot forehand down the line. Watch the reaction here when that one gets in.
Back on serve in the tiebreak, 4 points all. Let.
Yes, well played. Well played, that one.
Don't you think he should have gone for more on the attempted passing shot, Fred?
Well, he had to go for his own, had to make his own pace, but it was a good return of serve and a terrific pick up there, but it floats back, and this one he goes for the low one, but Sampras is on that one. I agree, he could have hit it a little bit harder. Sampras was still there, and there he says, hey, I pulled the plug on that one.
think he dodged a bullet on that. 4-5.
That's incredible strategy from Sampras. He knew exactly what he wanted to do was bring Courier into the net because he's not very comfortable with that, and he gets the shot that he wants, but Jim Courier runs straight in on top of the net. He's figured, hey, Sampras not going to lob me here. I've practiced, I've played against him so many occasions. Look how close he was to the net when he made that forehand.
5 points all. Brad Stein. A set point for Courier coming up. That is 5 aces for Courier. He served a couple or 3 in the first couple of games. 2 in the first game. Six points all.
These guys may not have the charisma, as a lot of people say, that Andre Agassi has, but they sure get it done on the court.
No, he misses that one, and now it's another set point, this time on Courier's serve.
Sampras pushed that one a little bit, didn't he? Tried to take a little pace off it. That's not like Sampras in those conditions.
And
that situation, a little tighten, yeah.
Missed it. Oh, you could see Sampras there breathing a sigh of relief, well, because Courier had that one in his sights, Fred.
Yeah, his approach shot also was mishit, framed it around the racket, and he made the commitment to go into the net.
Seven points all, tiebreak, second set.
Again, that's the one to the forehand. Courier was creeping over to the two-handed backhand side. A smart shot from Sampras. He's only played that shot on 3 occasions, and they hold it again to a big point opportunity.
Now it's a match point for Pete Sampras. This is his first match point on his serve in the tiebreak. You got it. He had that shot a couple of points ago and missed it that time. Identical shot, different result. Beautiful clip. Watch this.
These two have played one another so many times, know exactly where this volley's going. Sampras there plays it, doesn't get enough stick on it, doesn't get it close enough to the line. His friend Jim Courier knows the shot. He is there and he is able to snap the wrist. As Cliff mentioned, the one he missed a couple of points ago, he makes on that occasion.
Oh, he tried to do it the third time. That one was short. So he's hit one out, he's hit one perfectly, and that one he hit short.
That's a tougher one, though, because the volley is shorter and it doesn't come up as high, and he's got to give it a little bit more air, as we say. That means he's got to take more pace off it, and he didn't want to do that. He wanted to still try and get pace on it and force the error.
Match point Sampras. Courier steps back as the lines person takes his position in the middle line. He was late getting there. Match point. Sails it lock on. So they are going to have to change courts here as this match is level in the tiebreak at 9 points all. For those of you that have tuned in to watch daily racing form, Racehorse Digest, our tennis is running long. Just stay here. It's live coverage until it's over. You are watching the Lipton men's singles semi-finals from this brand new stadium at the Tennis Center at Crandon Park. We're on Key Biscayne. It's Jim Courier and Pete Sampras. Sampras won the first set 6-4. We're in the tiebreak of the second set. This is Jim Courier to serve. It's level in the tiebreak at 9 points all. That can only be explained away by attention, Fred, by choke-a-dope, really.
Yeah, he played that slice one first, and that had plenty of time. It was a little close to the body, and he just.
But it was coming slowly, hadn't it?
Second set point now for Courier.
These tie breaks are so great. I mean, they can be so thrilling.
It was his third set point opportunity, and it's just very tense and tight here every time they go up to serve at 10 points all.
You can see the breathing, the sigh of relief from Sampras as he serves an ace. His 11th. Match point. Sampras in the alley looking for the forehand.
Well, that's a surprising miss because Courier's been hitting that shot so well all day. Good friends, Pete Sampras got over there, did not get the shot that he wanted on the forehand. Cliff took a little bit off it and got an unforced error with Courier trying to generate his own pace. A well-played match right throughout. Courier had a couple of opportunities when he broke serve to get back into the first set, lost serve. He just couldn't consolidate those opportunities that he had when he broke the Sampras serve. And Sampras As you said, what can you say about Pete Sampras? He's the #1 player in the world. He's now into the final. This was a replay of the Wimbledon final. He's just on a roll.
Kind of downer of a last point, wasn't it, Fred? You know, you'd have loved to have seen a 15-point rally and then somebody put it away with a great smash or something, because it was a very good match and a very exciting tiebreak. Mary Gorilla's down there. She's going to talk to Pete Sampras. First of all, we're going to take a break. Sampras is in the final.